Okay, we're starting our series asking people what they think about Martin Luther King's triple evils or giant triplets of racism, extreme materialism, and militarism, how we're doing in terms of a society at addressing them. And we're honored to have Fred from the local NAACP here in Corvallis, Oregon. And this is the first one, so he's going to set a good example for others as well. So Fred, what do you think in terms of what you see here locally, nationally, internationally, what we are doing to hopefully move towards Dr. King's beloved community or move towards overcoming or transforming those triple evils?
Okay, well, just to start out with locally, you know, Dr. King's, his dream, you know, everyone be treated fair, equal, justice for all, so to speak. I think we're on the right track. You know, I think we're on the right track as far as moving justice. I'm going to say injustice is a little stiff right now. You know,
that's a good way to put it.
It's going to take a lot of, you know, a lot more work, a lot more dialogue. As far as war, you know, I mean, way back when, as I mentioned before, you know, Muhammad Ali said, "Why am I going over there, you know, to kill people that's, you know, the same as him?" And it probably looked like twins to some of the people. You know?
Sure, exactly.
But I don't think war is necessary, and I'm a security specialist, you know. But it's a different angle.
Sure.
I'd like to protect myself, you know, so to speak, and others, you know, so to speak. But as far as war, I don't think it's necessary. I think it's big business.
Right.
I think half of the people that's fighting own the bullets that they make, you know.
Sure. Okay, we're good.
Okay, so anyway, during the time that Obama was making the deal, I actually happened to know a lot of people, and one of them used to be the ambassador to Finland. That was one of the major people in the deal. And the reality is that the Iranians actually, other than a few of the real hot-headed ones, they liked the Americans.
Right.
And Obama, I mean, of course, he had his reasons to make the deal the way he did, but I think that they're still somewhat on board with the deal.
Sure.
And I think that Trump is just trying to mix it up, honestly. What I'm mostly worried about is that something's going to happen to the people there, because they're the ones who always suffer.
Of course.
Especially the younger ones, the educated ones, the people, because they are, you know, there's 60% of women are in universities now, even though it's much harder to go to a university as a woman than a man.
Sure.
But it shows they're so ahead of the game, but unfortunately, and it's wrong of America to let that happen. Our politics are also really hurting them.
So we have a rare treat tonight, and I think it's so important to hear from this person because Americans and most people in the world are so ignorant about nuclear weapons. Hideko Tamura experienced probably one of the worst things anybody has ever experienced in surviving the atomic bombing of Hiroshima. Her book, One Sunny Day, is a must-read if you have any notion that you would like to know what happened. And the fact that she has come through with such dignity and clarity is just amazing to me. And I'm so honored to see her again after probably over 20 years. So Hideko, a question I have for you, and again, given your unique experience, what do you make of the current state of nuclear affairs, especially right now? You have the current U.S. government maybe threatening North Korea with some kind of an attack that could actually lead to a nuclear war. What do you make of this? What's your perspective about this?
Thank you for asking me, Kevin. This is really, really a very serious concern to me, because when you say we're not well informed about this, it's very alarming. It's terribly important that you know what this means. You seem to know a lot of things, so please find out what happened to Hiroshima or Nagasaki. So much consequences that people, I think, would like to know on human beings. Your nervous system, your memory, your losses, your grief, your, let me say this, terror. And it is a terror when I am told that there might be another and more. And I cannot stress enough, all the survivors, we call hibaksha, must be grief-stricken. All the appeals we made to let the world know, not to condemn anyone, not to condemn anything, but so that we can plan for future, a more hopeful, peaceful, human dwelling and life and family to continue, so that your offsprings will have a chance to survive. Life is so important, so valuable. Please value it.
So Herb Rothschild is a longtime peace and social justice activist. And I think one of the most important things now, we have to impart strategy. How do we resist Trump? How do we pose positive alternatives? How do we build beloved communities? But one of the most important things is how we give people hope, how we undespair the people, because so many people are just despondent about Trump. And I think you have a lot of good perspective on that.
Well, I like to tell this story, Kevin, because really it's not just today that people feel disempowered. As a matter of fact, a part of the strategy of those who rule the country is to make us feel that we don't have any power.
That we don't make a difference,
and
right.
Really, our main choices are shopping or what channels we look at. But it's not true. And people were working all over the country. By 1982, which was the second special session on disarmament, there were 1 million people in Central Park. And there were people in other cities too, large rallies on the West Coast. We even had 200 in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. That's how fast a movement can spread when people have a sense of urgency. All you have to do is get started. And we know, despite what mainstream political commentary always says, that what turned Ronald Reagan around from talking about fighting and winning a nuclear war when he came to office to signing the most important arms control agreement we ever had, nuclear arms control, the first one that actually dismantled nuclear. What turned him around overwhelmingly was the grassroots peace movement here in the United States and also in Europe, including there was actually some in Russia, in the Soviet Union.
Well, and of course officials in his administration admitted that later. They would never admit it at the time. Right. We only have about a minute left. So what do you think in terms of the applicability for today when we're facing such odds with Trump?
So that is actually have been for me an inspirational tale from what seemed to be, from my perspective, what do I do? Is it possible to do anything? To finding myself part of a mass movement that I think saved the world from nuclear destruction. We did it. We can do it again. We have to do it again. Let's get started.